This is the story of the time Goodyear built a tire that glowed in the dark, lit from the inside like a lantern, and offered in any color a driver could dream up. One of the most dazzling ideas the tire industry ever produced turned out to be one of its brightest mistakes, because for all the spectacle, not a single set ever reached the driveway of an ordinary customer. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk through exactly what these glowing tires were, the wild show car that wore them, the reasons they failed, and the things the internet keeps getting wrong about the whole affair. Let's begin with what they actually were, because this part still sounds like science fiction. Somewhere in the late 1950s and into the early 1960s, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company of Akron, Ohio, cooked up a translucent tire from a synthetic material it called Neothane, and nothing about how it came together resembled a normal tire. In Goodyear's own words, the process involved pouring a colored liquid form of synthetic rubber into a hot, rotating mold, which produced a tire with none of the traditional layers, no fabric, no cords, no plies stacked one on top of another. What came out of that mold was a single clean piece of translucent synthetic rubber. Because the material let light pass straight through it, and because the color went in as a liquid, Goodyear pulled off something no tire maker had really attempted before, which was to light the tire up from within. The method behind that glow proved as theatrical as it was simple. Engineers mounted small bulbs inside the wheel itself, and since the rubber was see-through, the light poured straight through the tire and out into the night. Goodyear handed the finished set a name worthy of the effect, calling them the Golden Glass Slippers, as the company put it, plainly and proudly in its own account. These tires were translucent and could be internally illuminated. And that single line sits at the confirmed heart of the whole story. Picture a glowing, one-piece, color-poured tire, lit from the inside out. A reasonable person wonders why a serious tire company would sink money into something like this. Part of the answer was showmanship, and part of it was pure salesmanship. Goodyear wanted to flaunt what its synthetic materials could do, and it was quietly floating a bigger idea, that tires no longer had to be plain black. Period accounts describe a whole spectrum of possible colors, and the company chased that fashion angle with real enthusiasm. A quote attributed to Goodyear's development manager, John J. Hart, captures the pitch about as well as anything, because, as the story goes, he imagined a day when a wife may tell a husband, "Charlie, go out and change the tires. I'm wearing my blue dress tonight." Hart supposedly went further, calling the illuminated tire one of the most dramatic tire developments in the history of the industry. Those exact quotes reach us through period retellings, rather than a document anyone can hold up today, so treat the wording as reported rather than gospel, even though the spirit of them matches everything Goodyear was reaching for, which was to sell a tire as glamour. Selling glamour demands a stage, and this stage happened to be one of the most outrageous show cars of the era, a machine called the Golden Sahara II. Its lineage traces to 1954, when the legendary customizer George Barris, the man who would later shape the 1966 Batmobile, built the original Golden Sahara. During the first 9 months of 1958, the second version took form under its owner, Jim Skonzakis, and it functioned less like a car than a rolling laboratory of futuristic ideas. A conventional steering wheel was nowhere to be found, replaced instead by an aircraft-style control stick. Underneath the styling sat an early concept of radar-based braking, meant to help the car dodge accidents on its own. All of it wrapped in a glowing gold finish, and the machine carried so many gadgets that it once appeared on the old television panel show I've Got a Secret, driven onto the stage by remote control. Onto this rolling showpiece, Goodyear bolted its translucent, internally lit Neothane tires, the Golden Glass Slippers. And according to the company, that illuminated car then toured the world for 6 years. The obvious follow-up questions are how many bulbs we're talking about, and in what colors. And here, I have to be straight with you, because this audience knows the difference between a fact and a guess. Roughly 18 small bulbs per wheel is the figure period accounts tends to repeat, alongside a color list that runs through green, yellow, orange, blue, red, and white. Essentially anything the die could produce. Those specifics show up consistently wherever the story gets told. Yet they trace back to period press coverage rather than a Goodyear spec sheet, so take them as widely reported instead of confirmed engineering. What nobody disputes is the effect itself. A car rolling through the night on 4 glowing tires, in whatever color the owner fancied, looked like nothing else on the road. And the whole thing amounted to pure spectacle. That spectacle raises the question hanging over this entire story, which is why every car today isn't riding around on glowing rubber, and why the brightest tire ever built curdled into one of the brightest mistakes ever made. Spectacle, it turns out, is a very different thing from a good tire, and the practical problems stacked up in a hurry.
According to the accounts that have trailed this story for decades, the glowing tires carried a whole list of fatal flaws. Wet weather reportedly turned them dangerously slippery, a cruel irony for a product partly pitched on visibility and safety. And the material supposedly suffered from a low melting point, which meant the simple act of braking could pump enough heat into the tire to soften or even melt the tread. Then came the cruelest flaw of all, aimed straight at the entire point of the exercise. Because road grime and dirt reportedly dulled that glow almost immediately, so keeping the tires actually glowing demanded constant cleaning. Sitting on top of every other problem was the cost, since the exotic material plus the wiring needed to light a spinning wheel guaranteed these would never be affordable for an ordinary buyer.
I want to flag those failure points honestly, because they represent the widely accepted explanation repeated across the retellings, rather than numbers pulled from a Goodyear test report. And even so, they paint a strikingly consistent picture. A tire that looked incredible standing still and gave up ground everywhere that actually mattered once the car started rolling. All of that carries us to the single most important fact in this entire story. The detail that separates the truth from the tall tale. These tires never sold to the public. Not one set. A concept, a showpiece, a promotional marvel that rode on experimental cars and dazzled crowds is what they were. And they never reached production or went on sale anywhere. Anyone who insists you could once stroll into a dealership and buy glowing tires is simply mistaken. While we're on the subject of getting it wrong, let's clear up what the internet keeps mangling, because a legend this good attracts a lot of embellishment.
First comes the claim that each of these tires weighed around 150 pounds, something like 7 times a normal tire, a number that gets repeated as established fact when it's really an unverified estimate with no solid source behind it. Second, you'll hear that the famous show car sold at a Barrett-Jackson auction, and while the sale itself is real, the auction house named is wrong. The third distortion attaches specific individuals to the neothane chemistry, naming names that surface only in online retellings, with nothing to back them up and appear to be invented outright. A story this dramatic practically begs people to gild it, yet the real version stands tall enough without the added polish. Here's the true ending, and it happens to be a good one. Once its touring days wrapped, the Golden Sahara II slipped out of public view and sat in storage for roughly half a century. That changed in 2018, when, following the death of its owner, the car rolled across the block at a Mecum sale and brought in roughly $385,000, bought by a Chicago collection known as Claremont Collections. The trail didn't dead end in a warehouse, because in March of 2019, The fully restored Golden Sahara II reappeared at the Geneva International Motor Show, once again wearing translucent, glowing tires. Precision matters here, since this is exactly the kind of detail this audience cares about. And those 2019 tires were not the original 1960s Neothane at all. Solid urethane packed with color-changing LEDs is what they really were, a 21st century tribute to a 20th century dream, while the original Neothane technology stayed right where it belonged in the past. Maybe that's the fitting place to bring this to a close. The glowing tire never suffered from a failure of imagination, and if anything, it drowned in too much of it. An idea so bold and so beautiful that it outran what the materials and the roads of the early 1960s could actually deliver. Goodyear built a tire you could light up like a jewel and pour in any color of the rainbow. And the real world answered back with rain and heat and dirt and a brutal price tag, quietly reminding everyone why tires stay black, round, and boring. It was the brightest mistake in car history, and honestly, only a golden, optimistic, anything-is-possible era would ever have dared to make it. If you can still remember when the future was supposed to arrive on glowing tires and radar brakes, or if the Golden Sahara II is brand new to you tonight, tell me about it down in the comments. Stick around too, because a whole world of forgotten automotive ideas just like this one is still waiting to be remembered.